Hey, this is Pastor Dave, and this is your Monday Mojo. Hope you had a great weekend. So, have you ever heard the old adage, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch? I'm not sure that's so true. For instance, take 100 people, and let's say 5 of those 100 people behave in a way that is socially unacceptable. They're not kind to people, they're selfish, I think only about themselves, they say things that are unkind, do things that are unkind. If you're standing back looking at that group of people, 100 people, and 5 of them were behaving that way, you wouldn't say of the whole group, well, that group of people, they're all morally, socially unacceptable. But as I have watched things over the last, 10 years, that seems to be the way we're going. And maybe it's because we have more information, maybe because we have more awareness through social media of the bad apples, that we don't take time to think about the really good apples. You know, Mr. Mraz, I think, has it right when he said, look for the good in everyone. If you look at that 100 people and you see the 95 good, that ought to make you say, that's a pretty high percentage. 95% is a pretty good percentage, right? 5% is a low percentage. But we so focus on that 5%. I think maybe because we're just kind of naturally drawn to that. What if we were naturally drawn to looking at the good? What if we believe what the prophets said in the Old Testament? Don't believe that everything that you hear is a conspiracy. It's not. Don't believe everything's negative. It's not. I've said before in one of my mojos, think on these things, the good, the noble, the true, the lovely, the admirable. What if we did that? Instead of focusing on the 5. I think what happens when we focus on the 5% is that it makes for a very anxious and frightened life, or a very unhappy life at best. Rather than looking at the 95 that are good and saying, I want to join and be a part of that group. And the other 5, let's just not even think of, maybe even ignore that 5%. Maybe if we ignore the 5% enough, they won't be the 5% anymore. You know, maybe they'll say, hey, it's more fun to be part of the 95%. Anyway, I think that's the truth of the idea for me, is that the more we focus on the bad apples, the more we tend to kind of interiorly become bad apples in our thoughts, in our hearts. But the more we focus on the good apples, the more we want to be that way. Doesn't that make sense? Well, at least it does for me. And I think it makes for a better and more peaceful and happy, less anxious, less frightening life. So those are my thoughts. That's your Monday Mojo for today. Have a great week.